This intensely autumnal spice flavours pies, pastries, and curries the world over. It's not one particular spice per se, it's the fragrant bark of a family of trees. There's about 100 different varieties of cinnamon, but there's only 3 or 4 that really make it into our cuisine. The true cinnamon, like this, comes from Sri Lanka, and you can tell because it kind of looks like a cigar and it crumbles easily. It has a super nuanced and delicate flavour that warrants a higher asking price. Indonesian cassia is a tad bolder than true cinnamon. It has a thicker bark and a more fiery kick. This is the stuff that you usually find in supermarkets or cinnamon-flavoured things. It's a tad cheaper, but that doesn't mean it's not as tasty. In fact, it has way more coumarins, which is a flavour compound associated with cinnamon, than Sri Lankan cinnamon, which means you get more bang for your buck, albeit a more one-dimensional experience. Cinnamon in cocktails is traditionally paired with rum in tiki drinks, like the Jet Pilot or the infamous Zombie. We've all seen those flaming drinks being dusted with cinnamon powder, and in slow motion you see the powder ignite into flashes of fragrant flame. It's all very impressive, it's just not particularly my style. Every week I break my drinks down into 3 sections: super simple, where no special tools are required; mega tasty, where we might have to make a syrup or an infusion; and ultra fancy, where maximum effort is required. Now, with all that being said, we should probably make some drinks, but first, we need to do some prep. Alright, so the first ingredient is an enhanced cinnamon syrup, which calls on some complementary flavours to make it pop. Start by cutting off the stems and any white flesh from a bunch of strawberries to make 100 grams of whole strawberries. To that, add 200 grams of caster sugar, 15 grams of whole coffee beans, and crush 3 small quills or 15 grams of Sri Lankan cinnamon. Add the whole lot to a pan and add in 100 grams of water. Bring the mixture together over a low heat, smush the strawberries, and simmer lightly until the fruit flesh has disintegrated and the sugar has dissolved. Should be around 30 minutes. Take it off the heat, transfer it to a jar and let it cool, then refrigerate it for 24 hours for those delightful flavours to marry and mellow. Whilst that's hanging out in the fridge, let's make a drink. So the first drink today is a Rum Punch. This is a super easy, chinnable afternoon sipper that will easily be a new favourite. To make this, to a jar or shaker add 15 ml of lime juice, that's just about half a lime. 20 ml of pineapple juice, fresh is best, but carton juice will do. 15 ml of gum, which is a heavyweight 2-to-1 sugar syrup. 50 ml of the delightful Seawolf Scottish rum. This has a killer, like, banana bread flavour to it. And 2 dashes of Angostura bitters. Add plenty of ice and shake super hard. Strain out into your favourite cocktail glass and garnish with loads of cassia, finely grated over the top of the glass. This adds a bright and Moorish, spicy finish to the cocktail. This is a drink that I'd happily session all afternoon, and especially if Mexican food is involved. This is a killer rum punch. Cheers! Back in the prep kitchen, we're going to do some prep to make Firestorm. Now, we've all had Fireball, right? That cinnamon Canadian whiskey that's always the beginning of nights you'd rather forget. Personally, I think it's decidedly understated for a drink that takes its name from something that gets expelled from a dragon's throat. We can do better. One thing that springs to mind is the always delicious cinnamon swirl. I've been really lazy and I'm using a can of pre-prepared swirls. Chop the whole package into 4 equal parts and bake for 12 minutes. Just enough time to get together the other ingredients. Start by adding to a vat pack bag 2 grams of whole black pepper, 2 grams of whole pink pepper, 2 grams of coriander seeds, 20 grams of freshly chopped ginger, don't worry about taking the skins off, 1 gram of fresh turmeric. If you can't find fresh turmeric, you can use 1/4 gram of the powdered stuff. 10 grams of grated cassia. On second thought, actually, cassia is really difficult to grate and you'll be here a long time, so just break it up and stick it in. 10 grams in total. 1 small chipotle chili that's been chopped and de-seeded. If you put the seeds in, it will be overwhelmingly hot and no one would be able to drink it, so leave those out. 500 grams of American whiskey. I've gone for Maker's Mark. This is a wheated whiskey, so it's slightly sweeter, but it also has this wonderful round kind of bakery note to it as well. And that will come into play later. 100 grams of fine honey. This is a killer, bright and citrusy honey from Bermondsey Street Bees. Once you brought all those things together, it should be around about the time to get your cinnamon rolls fresh from the oven. I put 4 in, now there's 2. Something must have happened between here and the oven. I don't know. Go ahead and dunk that toasted, sweet, sweet little boy in your bag of whiskey. Once you've got everything in the bag, squeeze the air out of the cinnamon roll so it can soak up the whiskey, and then go ahead and seal the bag. Give it a little massage and throw it in a pot of 60-degree water, at Celsius, not Fahrenheit, for 1 hour for those spiced flavors to mingle and marry. Once the ingredients have had a nice little jacuzzi, turn the heat off and let the whole thing cool down. Once at room temperature, throw the bag in a freezer overnight. Hey, while you're at the fridge, you might as well take out that syrup that we started making earlier. Once the syrup's been in the fridge after an extended chill out, the syrup has turned into this loose, spicy jam. To filter out all the woody bits, pap it all through a muslin cloth and squeeze out as much liquid as possible. Then that's it. Bottle, label, and keep in the fridge. This is not exactly a classic cinnamon syrup, but every ingredient sings. The coffee props up the roasty, toasty elements, and the strawberry acts as a buffer for the spicier notes to gently caress the taste buds. This saucy number shines through in cocktail number 2, Spurious Connection. Now this drink presents itself very simply, but don't let that fool you. To make this drink, to a shaker or mixing glass add 40 ml of the delightful Glass House. This is a Highland-style unpeated whiskey with apple and toffee notes. 10 milliliters of Bowmore 12-year-old. This is an Islay kind of sweeter style peated whiskey. It's a slightly older malt with an oily aspect. 10 ml of our cinnamon syrup, so you have that strawberry up front and that lingering nuanced cinnamon in the background. And 2 dashes of Reagan's Orange Bitters. This adds this bright kind of cardamom top note. Stir everything until nice and chilled, strain out into an old-fashioned glass with a few large ice cubes. Garnish with a quill of cinnamon that has been partly blackened on the hob. Wait a few seconds for it to cool down because no one likes a charred nose. This is the stuff of dreams. Smooth, rich, it's got a lick of smoke, a fruity body, and a spiced finish. Simply put, killer. This is a Spurious Connection. Okay, so back in the prep kitchen, returning to our Firestorm prep. Once it's been severely chilled, run through a coffee filter and keep it in the fridge whilst it's filtering. It might take a little while and it might go really slowly through a coffee filter, but hey, stick with it. Once this is filtered, bottle, label, keep in the freezer for when the occasion takes you for you to summon the Firestorm. Well, I guess that occasion's right now. Okay, so this is the naughty number that blows the socks off Fireball. It's a touch spicier and bolder than the store-bought kind, with earthy turmeric and ginger undertones, all lifted through with that smooth, buttery, bakery, pastry notes from that cinnamon swirl infused Maker's Mark. The cassia and chipotle lingers for at least 10 minutes, but it's a subtle warmth rather than a raging fire. To serve, simply pour into shots and enjoy. Woo! This is Firestorm! So there you are, team. 3 drinks using the oh-so-festive spice cinnamon, something I'm sure we're going to be seeing more and more of as we transition into the colder months. I tried to stay away from cliche things like hot toddies and more tiki drinks, but if you think I've missed anything, stick it down in the comments below. If you like what you saw, consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more videos in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take it easy, be good, love ya, bye!